Hello, everyone. You're watching Speak Your Mind with Dr. Ryger, our weekly series on psychology and societal change. I'm Neza Alawi, founder and CEO of Join Mayshad, the New York based company that empowers women on a daily basis. I'm here today with Dr. Risa Ryger, our clinical psychologist and investor in Mayshad. And our guest speaker today is Tiffany Layne. Hello, Dr. Ryger.
Hello, Neza. Good to see you this week. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. So today's show is summer plans. Where aren't you going? In today's show, our topic of conversation is the art of the lost vacation. For many of us, summer trips serve us well for many reasons. They bring us much needed rest and relaxation, give us a chance to spend quality time with friends and family, and an opportunity for us to experience joy. We know this summer looks much different. Dr. Ryger, I'm curious to know if your own summer plans have changed this year.
Neza, boy, have my plans changed. One of the joys for me is going on vacation and planning vacation. I think that travel and being part of new cultures, new environments, new foods, new art, new people is just one of the most nurturing and mind opening experiences. Especially if it's coupled with, depending on where you go, some sort of outdoor activity and just being in new space is wonderful. So that as I was thinking about where I might go, passport ready, of course, what plane, how long, and then it became clear that that wasn't going to happen. So um, I'm putting together a trip wish list.
Um, Tell us a little bit about last year and the trip that you went on with your daughters.
Oh, oh, Nessa. Last year was one of the joys of travel. Um, and my daughters are adults. They're in their 20s, and it was a celebratory trip. And incredibly, we were all able to put our calendars together and go together. And I had, through a charity, I had gotten a 3-night stay at an extraordinary wine chateau in Bordeaux. And so we went from there. And it was absolutely just so spectacular, not just the landscape and the incredible people that we met, but having this time together as a family, which when people get older, you generally really don't have that kind of gift. So we did some great hiking, and we were in the Basque Country, and we took the Pilgrim Trail and we hiked. It wasn't an enormous hike, but we did hike from France into Spain, and just crossing the border was just so, it was just a moment and excitement, um, and ending in Bilbao and seeing the wonderful art there, and just having family time. And of course, with family time, it's everything. It's all of the flavors that goes into that.
So, family, exploration, culture, discovery. Can you tell us what happens at a psychological level when we travel?
Well, a lot of things can happen, and one thing is that you kind of have to know who you are, and what works for you, what may not work for you at the moment, and where your family is developmentally. And so that, for example, I was thinking about you, your daughters are, certainly much younger than mine. And I was thinking that when my girls were little, we used to go to Cape Cod every summer. And one of the things that I looked forward to as a parent was getting out of our routine, out of the, okay, now we have to be out, we have to be ready in 5 minutes. Where are your shoes? What do you need for the day? And that kind of, experience. And then what I looked forward to so was being able to go and to be able to say yes. As a parent, so much of the time, not to our children and to ourselves, we have to say no a lot. No, I can't do this now. No, I don't have enough time. No, this isn't a good time. No, you can't have the cookie. No, we can't do this now. And to be able to go and really wholeheartedly step into yes. And the joy that that brings, the joy that it brings of kind of breaking the rules a little bit and being able to say, you know what we're doing for breakfast this morning? It's like, what? We're going for ice cream. We're going to go get ice cream for breakfast. And whether it's literally getting ice cream for breakfast or what ice cream is for your soul, you know, that it just changes things up a little bit, that you can go into the space of yes. And so that for vacations are in our minds, vacations are the place where we can park some of what our lives look like and be able to go into a different kind of space, a more of a different kind of road where we're able to take it a little bit more slowly or not, depending on how you are and what things look like for your family and for you, if you travel with your family or not, but that we're able to really just express ourselves, tap into some of the dream and the fantasy of what we may not be able to do with such ease during the course of our regular, days. And even if the fantasy is what I'm going to do is, and had so many people I work with tell me this, I want to be on a chair and have a book in front of me and just feel the sunshine and have a cold, something cold to drink and just be able to be for just a little bit, just be able to be. And so it taps into all different aspects of who we are. And also, Neza, it can also be a time of renewal, of kind of replenishment, of taking that big exhale that we really do need to take.
And it's not a matter of destination, it's more the change, because some of us are lucky to live in places that are a vacation destination. New York is a vacation destination for a lot of Europeans and more travelers. Morocco is definitely a vacation destination, and I grew up in Morocco, but it wasn't vacation for me because I lived there. So it's really that breaking the habits that you're talking about, somehow kind of running away from our world because it becomes our world with the sense of duties and responsibilities, and then suddenly we don't wake up with all the duties that are overwhelming to us. And there is also a sense of creativity when you travel. You get to be more daring with your hairstyle, with your looks. And can you tell us about that ignition to creativity that happens with traveling?
Oh, that's fantastic. That things that you might not have tried, because chances are when you're going someplace else, you're going there anonymously, right? And so you can do your hair, not do your hair, put on different makeup. It's like when people go to Vegas, when that was happening as a vacation destination or a trip destination, people would take clothes with them that they may not wear in Manhattan. You can just try another piece of yourself. I mean, both literally and figuratively, just try on another part of yourself, explore something new of who you are. And so whether it's taking a trip and then wondering, taking going on a hike, or going in and seeing art that ordinarily you might not see, or being at the shore and trying, just being there and seeing what that's like for you, that you get a chance to try on different pieces of yourself. And as you do that, you can also extend that to your family. And and again, it can be, Neza, as you know, and certainly with the travels that you've done, and I cherish my travels, that you get to try on different parts of yourself. We will say, oh, let me try this shirt on and see how it fits. We get to try on these different pieces of ourselves. And when we're with our children, that they get to try on different pieces of themselves also.
But Dr. Ryger, what does it say about us in society when we're realizing that literally we're trying t-shirts that we wouldn't dare trying in our day-to-day life, and having behaviors that are so joyful that we don't dare having and testing in our day-to-day life. um, what is happening in our psychology? Are we afraid to be judged? Do we kind of engage ourselves unconsciously in a certain bubble in the world in which, or society in which we live?
That brings up the big picture of how do we show up? And are there certain ways that we're expected to show up? And the answer to that is yes. Of course. I mean, there's a look, when you're at work, when you're meeting with people, in regards to Mayshot, uh, not that there, and it's not about authenticity. I think that's really important to say. We can be authentic in all these different ways. That authenticity isn't just one entity. That we can be authentic when we're playful. We can be authentic in a serious work mode. We can be authentic. Um, as we're traveling, we can be authentic as we try to help someone who's asking us for directions to go somewhere, and that we take our authenticity with us across our different roles. And sometimes the roles that we're in at the moment, I'm not talking about a made up role or a role that has to be constricting, but that we there are times for us to be serious, and there are times for us to be playful, and there are times for us to be funny, and times for us to be just silly, and to be able to kind of move out of that and move into a space of openness. And we can. I mean, it's a great question, because we can incorporate some of that into our lives no matter where we are, to give ourselves that opportunity to try. But certainly when we're traveling, when we're away, that we can bring more looseness to ourselves and try things more. And that it can be part of it is just that we're someplace new. And so there's no need to be our this or our that we can be just something else.
And the thing that comes to my mind when I'm listening to is also time. Um, we don't have time to try on new things when we are in our day-to-day life, and we have that time when we're getting ready and we are in our holidays. We have that time to test things that could work or could not work, and so let's take us back to where we are in 2020, and what the world is going through. That is a situation that is banning travels. And how can people feel that sense of holidays when they might have to stay in the same city, in the same state? Um, so it's not just the destination, because obviously, if you think of New York, people would fly 7 hours to come and spend holidays in New York, and wherever every one of us is. But how can we just use this time to explore the city where we are differently, and to bring in all those small components that we don't consciously think of as travelers, like creativity, like exploring things, places, restaurants, things, spaces like parks that you have never discovered in your own city. Can you give us some ideas there of what people can do to be and feel on holidays in their own city?
Absolutely. First, it's important to know where it is, what is your growth edge? What is it that you would like to grow or try or develop or taste for yourself and for your family, let's say. And so there's so much that's gone unexplored, and you have to figure out what you need. Of course, part of summertime is about being outside. And how do you get to have some outside experience? And so at this point, if you like adventure, take a look. Go see what's nearby. There's so much. I mean, I know that even in my own neighborhood, I found trails that I didn't know existed. Um, that you can make it something. This is where, when you're talking about creativity, this is a creativity and an effort. It's not, okay, I'm going to hop on a plane and go to Paris and go see the Eiffel Tower, which of course is just wonderful. But we may not have an Eiffel Tower experience. We may not have that kind of experience, but we can have fantastic experiences and plan an adventure. If you have a car, if you feel comfortable getting on a train, and you can go for a day trip and do something along that way. And if you're going with your family, everyone gets to be a photographer. Everyone can be a chronicler. Everyone can interview somebody about something. You can create, I mean, part of vacation is about creating memories. And so not every single memory of this time has to be COVID related. And so what are the memories that you want to create? What is it that would be liberating for you? What is it that would just bring you that joyfulness? Whatever it may be, packing sandwiches, taking it with you, finding a pretty spot to go sit down, having a picnic in the park, discovering some new areas of the city, and taking a look and seeing what that is. And that the other thing is that, most of life's experience doesn't happen in neon lights. Most of life's experience really happens in daylight, regular light, flipping the switch in a hallway. And that it also gives us this opportunity now to be able to appreciate, and not just in some abstract kind of way, Neza, but to really appreciate, wow, I didn't know this existed. What a nice experience. Little, Susie made this really cool sandwich that she's really proud of to take on her trip, our trip today. And the trip doesn't have to be a big deal, but that, everyone gets a chance to contribute in some way. And that's part of what being with others is about, is how we're together, how we contribute, how we can have an experience and creativity of even the creativity of making a sandwich and taking it with you, and chronicling the process and having a little video of the story of our day to Central Park.
And breaking the rules with some ice creams and some details that you add to your routine that you wouldn't do in normal times.
Yeah.
I'll just add a tip before welcoming our fabulous travel specialist. So that's my story this weekend. So I was in New York with my daughters, and I missed LA so much. I love California. I love New York for the city life, and I love California for another type of lifestyle. And so, as I was really thinking of LA, I started really questioning what is it that I like when I'm in LA. So, what I like, it's more of the wellness vibe. I'm gonna wear short flip flops that I wouldn't normally wear in New York, and so I just decided to put myself into that mindset for the whole weekend. So I had an LA look. I went into looking for vegan ice cream and like spots and experiences that are more the type of things that I would test in LA, and it worked. It really gave me a sense of getaway, even though it was a very warm weekend here in New York. But it was nice. It just connected me back to LA.
And
So,
I'll
do
just do one share for people who don't live in Manhattan. But I'm in a house and I have a yard, and even if you have a little bit of space, we got a blow up pool, a little one. And actually, was having a conversation. Tiffany, you may not know this, but that's where I was when I was speaking to you on Saturday. And so, rather than calling it the kiddie pool, it has been named forever the cocktail pool. And so that, if you can't get to places, even if you have a little bit of space, even if you have a tub, you can make part of your experience what you want. Apropos that you created LA for you in Manhattan. And that's where some of the beauty is, and that's where the creativity, and the only boundary that you have is really the boundary of what you're imposing on yourself. So whether you want to be in LA, whether you want to be in Mexico, whether you want to be in France, whether you want to be in Spain, there's some way that you can experience that in Manhattan, and just kind of, go through go take the passport of your mind, the passport of your experience, and go with that.
Totally. It's in the head, and we're all blessed anywhere in the world to have international foods and Epicurean experiences. So maybe the trouble starts there. So Tiffany Layne is joining us. Tiffany is the visionary behind Love and Travel and Lifestyle, a proud woman and Black-owned luxury travel company serving a diverse group of clientele around the globe, and is committed to partnering with brands, suppliers, and tourism boards who publicly and fearlessly maintain an ongoing voice in support of diversity and inclusion as part of their shared core values. Tiffany, could you tell us about your philosophy that travel isn't just a trip, but a lifestyle? What do you mean by that, and how has that changed for you and your business during this time?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Neza and Dr. Ryger, for having me on the show today. I'm very excited to be here and, of course, talk about travel because it's one of my passions, hence why I own a business in it. But yes, travel is definitely a lifestyle. And when I started in this industry, it was important for me to evoke that sort of feeling that when you travel, that it's not just taking a trip, it's not just booking a hotel and a destination, it's about the experience and how that becomes part of your lifestyle and your memories for the rest of your life. So I think when we approach travel, and if we approach it as an experience versus just a trip, then it becomes part of our life. It becomes part of how we enjoy our lifestyle, and how we create memories for us, for our families, for our partners. If we're going on a honeymoon or a couples trip, or even with our relationships with our friends group trips, things like that, all instill memory and joy, and create, and you take trips based on those types of lifestyle, that the type of lifestyle you want to lead, whether it's adventure and exploring the outdoors, whether it's culinary and you want to go just eat yourself silly at throughout a country, or whether it's family and educating your children on a culture or a destination, or even other races, other whatever. I mean, it's all about the experience, and I think there's so many platforms in travel that allow people to experience it the way that they want, and that enhances their lifestyle.
Tiffany, we've seen a shift in travel habits over the past decade. Before luxury travel, I, my parents' generation used to be finding a five-star hotels, going on holidays there, like barely not go out from the hotel, and going into very cliche tourist activities. And then over the past decade, this new millennial generation who would travel luxury, they would really look to create a sum of experiences that are unique and different. And just an example of them that I see happen in Morocco, it's just going into a desert trip, but then at night you have your table set up in the middle of the desert with your champagne and your sunset. So and at Mayshad Hospitality, we were always about those little details. So, do you feel now, Tiffany, with what is going on with COVID, that experiential travel is it's actually going to be even more reinforced? I mean, if people take the risk to travel, it's not just going to be like a plain business travel, but it's really going to be an amazing experience.
Yes, I mean, experiential travel has grown and explosively over the past few years as people want to really make the most of their travel investments. And it's not just about booking a five-star luxury hotel and then going on a just some typical pre-designed tour. People are really wanting to have that immersive experience in their destination. Again, that experience that creates memories, that evokes emotion, that really brings actually more value to their travel investment as well. Gone are the days where people just want to flaunt and spend endless amounts of money just to get to a destination, but never have a story to tell. It's about having a story to tell. When you come back from a place, you want to be able to sit around a group, a dinner table, and when everyone asks you, how was your trip? You want to have a story to tell. And how that's happening and how that's been emerging over the years is through uniquely designed experiential adventures and travel. And that's based also on your personal desires and your personal interest. And that's where people like myself, travel advisors like myself, and business and companies like myself come into play, because we work personally with our clients to ensure that those experiences based on their personal interest happen and are designed specifically and custom specifically for them, because no two travelers are the same. Everyone has different interests. Everyone has a diverse set of things they want to explore and experience, and sometimes even within the same family. Imagine that, designing a family holiday, but everyone has different interests. But being able to make sure that there are elements in that trip that everyone can take with them and hold close to here, so that it's always here, so that they can tell those stories even amongst themselves, is something magical. And so there's definitely been a shift. People want emotional travel. They want experiential travel. They want to create memories. And even if it's a short trip, it doesn't have to be this big, grandiose trip, 7 to 10 day safari. It could be an intimate weekend getaway that still creates a memory and is still experiential. So I think that people need to realize that luxury is personal. Luxury is about the experience, not necessarily the opulence. And that in an experiential travel is based on you and your interest, and connecting with someone who can bring that out and bring that into your experience, I think will change your whole way of traveling.
Tiffany, I'm wondering. I'm wondering about the position that you're in. You're a Black woman entrepreneur, business owner, and one of the things that I noticed, I don't know exactly how to, kind of describe it. One of the things I noticed when, from early on with my kids, when we were going on the Cape, and they were really tiny, they were little, and, to travel, the trip before last, we went as a family. We went to Patagonia in Chile, and we went hiking there, which was like awesome, amazing. And one of the things that I've noticed, and I'm curious about your experience, is that In terms of diversity, of terms of people getting out of lane, have you noticed, and what's your experience been about people wanting to go in certain lanes to certain places and really opening up the road and showing what, kind of like what the different roads are, and that and so that we have an experience of being with all kinds of people in different places, and not that this particular group generally goes in this direction, this particular group goes in that direction. How could you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. I think that it's a very important topic to discuss, and it's a very hot topic, obviously, right now. Diversity in variety of industries. When it comes to travel, I think it's important that people take an approach to really question when they're going and visiting a destination, what is it and why is it that they're visiting there? When you go to visit, for instance, Africa, is it just to take a safari and see animals? Or are you really interested in the culture and the diversity and what that country holds as their values and how the people live? What are you doing to make sure that you completely can immerse yourself and even your family or your kids into something beyond seeing a lion or visiting a community? When you visit a community, is don't visit it as tokenism. Visit it because you really want to understand how a people, how a culture thrives, lives, experiences their life, because perhaps that enhances or changes you on the inside too, and how you take and what you take from that experience. I think that everyone, of course, has their interest when it comes to travel. So certain groups, we have people that are cruisers, and that's their enjoyment. They will only cruise. And like you said, you went to Patagonia. There are people that want to just embrace the beauty of this land and this world. But while in Patagonia, I mean, there are some indigenous cultures there that are truly remarkable. And are you connecting with that so that you take a little bit more from your travel experience than just hiking through the beautiful landscape and taking that beauty in? But what about connecting with the people? People are what make a culture and make a country and make a destination. New Yorkers make New York, and everyone who comes to New York from a different country wants to experience that New York way. People are what make a place, and if you're missing out on engaging with a culture and a people when you travel, then you're really missing out on a big portion of your experience, because it's not just about the sights. It's not just about, the beauty of the land. It's inclusive of everything: culture, land, sights, history. And history is usually about the people. So I really, really think it's important that people reevaluate how they travel too, and what really they're getting out of it. Because just going somewhere and saying, I saw this, I saw that, is not really experiencing or engaging in experiential travel.
What are the hopes in your industry for now? It is summer, it's going to be fall. People want to travel, but they want to travel safely, and they want to have their luxury travel experience. Have you been thinking of those solutions, and is there something that people can reach out to you and you can help them set their summer plans and their fall plans, and yeah, whether it's romantic or family or adventurous?
I think that's a great question, because I think that's a question on a lot of travelers' minds. Passionate travelers always want to travel. They have that urge, they have that anxiety if they're not. And at the beginning of all of this pandemic, everyone's heart sank with not being able to keep their summer travel plans. But as far as being, I could speak to being here in America right now, where American travelers were used to jetting off to Europe and taking the family to different destinations around the world to get away. But now we're seeing a new a new growth in exploring our own land and exploring America and finding ways where we can build travel experiences with our friends, with our families right here in America. And to be honest with you, it's booming. Um, your places like ranches or big properties with small footprints out in the Midwest or even down south. Those are starting to be the new norm of travel, whereas people just want a different piece of scenery, but they also want the opportunity to do something. You may never have thought of a dude ranch, but there are some amazing dude ranches in America that offer something for everyone. Children can learn archery, they can horseback ride, they can learn how to run a farm. Uh, they have amazing spas for people who enjoy wellness and wellness programs, but all also with the comfort of offering socially distanced accommodations, which is really important for people right now in their safety. You'll be maybe surprised to hear that a lot of these luxury properties in America are already booked solid through September, because people are looking for alternatives and they're looking for the options that allow them to have moments where they can still create those memories that they might have in the summer in Europe or whatever, but doing it right here on their homeland. And I think there are many opportunities for travelers to explore. I just recently went and took a short trip to Rhode Island myself, just change of scenery, learn about a different place in a different town in a different city, and engage in it and with the locals in different ways and experience it. These are things that we can do, and they can be very educational too for families. Everyone's wondering what to do with the kids. Kids don't have summer camp. Kids don't have this. I tell you what, they will feel like camp if you want to take them up to the Adirondacks, to properties like Lake Cora, which are standalone properties that are exclusive buyouts, where you just can have so many activities to yourself, but the freedom to enjoy time to create memories, whether it's making s'mores in the fire pit or riding the canoe on the lake or going fishing or having a great camp dinner. There's so many options and ways that you can still enjoy summer and enjoy a getaway and enjoy travel. You just have to find the right solution, find the right fit, and that's where making sure that you speak to a travel professional can come in really handy, because we know what's open, we know what safety protocols are being put in place from the properties, and we know definitely if they're going to be open, if they're going to be closed, if there's a potential for them reclosing, because as you know, a lot of states are in that process as well. So it's just really, really, really important that you stay informed in these travel times as well.
Tiffany, I'm wondering, I've heard about this, so if I've heard about it, I'm sure that you have, that there's been a lot of movement for people to rent RVs and go to the road, that there's these retrofitted campers, retrofitted vans with equipment and beds like the old VW campers. And that seems to be, something that is reemerging, and perhaps, kind of more people who may not have considered that as a form of travel are now, into it.
Yes, absolutely. It's oddly becoming a hit. You're sort of getting these Brady Bunch vibes, right? Where you're the National Lampoon's Vacation, but taken to another level, and people are starting to hit the road and explore personally the roads. Some people still want to just pick a destination and fly because you do still have to make stops on the road, and a lot of people are still concerned about where you're going to do that with kids, rest stops and bathrooms and things like that. But the RV boom has definitely taken an uptick, and it's interesting to see families turning to that and getting these decked out campers and that almost look like rock star tour buses, right? That you expect someone like a Bon Jovi to go on tour, and it's really interesting, and it's exciting to see the creative ways that people are trying to embrace their travel and their wanderlust. Once you have wanderlust, it never goes away. Sometimes situations just make it so that you have to navigate doing it differently, like times like this. And so the RV camper movement is big, but also this, in addition, is the glamping sort of situation, right? Where you get to go to these spectacular outdoor tinted environments that allow for isolation but different experiences, and those are huge as well. I know on a Mon property out west has a new camp called the Secura camp, which is a gorgeous tinted camp, and it has everything you want, and it's an amazing new experience, and people are just starting to explore in different ways, in different fashions, and it's really interesting to see. And I think they're starting to learn a little bit more about themselves too in the process, and a little bit more about what they may be more open to doing and open to experiencing. So it's great. It's a great and an interesting dynamic that's happening.
Dr. Ryger, are you ready to travel? Where this is so inspiring. I just feel like taking you on a weekend and doing our next show somewhere in the US.
Neza, I can really connect into that image with you. We'd have so much fun, and it would be great.
Yes,
We'll have to put that on the. We'll have to figure out how we get to put that on the calendar. Taking a Speak Your Mind on the road.
totally. Tiffany, thank you so much. This has been very inspiring. We totally relate to the fact that now more than ever, people really need to consult travel specialists to make sure that they are going through the right experience, through the safe experience. And it's not like we can just experience many travels right now, so we might as well experience the right one and at the right time. Tiffany, our audience can find you on Levin Travel and Lifestyle, the
Yes.
website. We just
Um,
posted a
the,
story on
the
social media.
website is levontravel.com.
Okay.
And you can get in touch with me personally with any questions that you may have. I am always available to the traveler at Tiffany, Tiffany, at levontravel.com. And just as a quick follow up, please, please, as you travel, make sure that you understand all the information because information is changing daily with the COVID situation. So it would just be horrible to book a trip, get somewhere, and you didn't have the right things in place. So I implore people that to understand that you're not taking away from the experience of booking your own travel when you collaborate with a travel advisor. You may just be enhancing it and saving yourself a lot of trouble in the end. So please reach out. I want to thank Neza. I want to thank Dr. Ryger for having me on the show. It's been fabulous, and we will have to do a Mayshod destination experience real soon.
We'll plan it. Dr. Ryger, please speak to our audience on where they can find you and they can connect to you um, all the time.
Sure, Neza. So you can always write to me at Dr. R at expertinchange.com. And I have a resource available for you about coping and supporting your coping. And always remember that here, Meshad, this is, we are the sisterhood. We are the place. And that no matter where you are, no matter where you may be traveling, or as per today's show, not traveling, that we have your spot saved for you. So please come and join us. We are here with welcome arms, open arms welcoming you. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you so much, everyone. And you can find us every Monday on our YouTube channel, Join Meshad, and the rest of the week on joinmeshad.com for all the experiential and participatory events that we organize. Thank you.